the 4th of July 250th anniversary big old party. And I honestly, I ain't gonna lie, I overslept. I had a show planned, I was ready to go, and I overslept. It was just that simple. But anywho, I'm back, and this is a faith-based channel. So why am I going live every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock with the Stacy Show? Because Sunday is the first day of the work week, and I'm at work. So that's why. So come back next week and bring a friend. And if you like what you see, keep coming back. Which I see that you are coming back, because guess what? My followers are going up. Yay! And my views are going up. So I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so very much for increasing my viewership. Yeah, because this ain't that easy. Put yourself on Front Street for people to talk about you, but it's okay, folks, because you know what? Some people are born to do what they are born to do, and I am born to be a wealth of information. And it drives people crazy, though. Trust me. I have to learn to temper it, you know what I'm saying? Like, pull back. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad I have this channel, though, because it gives me that out to talk about things as important as what I'm going to talk to you about this morning. So let's get to the point, because we only have 30 minutes. And I respect your time. I really do. So thank you. Let me tell you what happened. I'm a mom, all right, of adult children. And as a mom of adult children, I realize and recognize that children follow the patterns of their parents. It's just how it goes. We've seen commercials and things like that about how we are our children, or we are our parents when we grow up. Absolutely, absolutely. The apples don't fall too far from the tree. So I thought it was so critical to tell my children I'm sorry, I set up a meeting with a financial advisor. Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you, Vicki. I set my children up to meet with a financial advisor, and boy, was I surprised at how much they didn't know and how much I didn't know about preparing for your financial future. Come on now. We all are going to hit retirement age if we are blessed enough to live into our 70s, I guess, because now people are retiring in their 70s instead of their 60s. They're making us work longer, y'all. Unless you can, unless you're a trust fund baby, your butt is out here working like the rest of us. So so let me tell you about that. And then also what I want to talk to you about is something very sad. And I'm not going to cry, because you know I'm a crybaby. I don't know what it is about me, but I'll cry at the drop of a hat, okay? Take me to the movies, into a sad movie, and I will boo-hoo. Okay, so this is what happened. Are you ready? I went to visit my cousin, because I was in Ohio for the 250th anniversary party for the nation, okay? But that wasn't when I was there. I was actually there for a funeral, and it just turned out I ended up extending my stay. So I'm not going to mention my cousin's name out of respect, but I realized that my cousin is being held, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, hostage. So let me tell you what happened. So my cousin is in his 60s, and he had a back injury which resulted in him becoming disabled. His sibling realizes that he gets a nice check every month. It's not a big check, but it's a decent amount of money. He also was smart enough to invest some of his settlement into stocks, so he gets dividends every month. Smart move, though. If you get a lump sum of money, blow a couple dollars, but put a couple dollars in a savings, not a savings, well, a high annuity savings. You can do that too, but make sure it's a high yield savings. But also, he put the money in some stock. He had an advisor, and she said, get some utility stock, because as you grow older, you'll be able to get that money coming in every month. So sometimes he gets a nice little fat check, and sometimes it's less, you know what I'm saying, depending on how volatile, the market is and how much he gets. Well, it turns out that I believe in my heart that he actually is being held against his will, in a sense, because his sibling is using the money, the resources, to help support her household. She's not giving him any services, meaning she's isolating him. She's isolating him. And in that isolation, of course, if you're isolated, you begin to mentally decompensate, right? And so she's using that as a reason of an excuse as to why she is not putting him into an environment, like finding him a senior location where he has activities every day planned, meals planned. She's holding him with her to hold on to the money, right? And you guys, it happens. It happens because we are not prepared to live independently because we haven't prepared financially. So there's that. And then I want to tell you a very sad story. You ready? It's Sunday morning. I know. But anyway, my brother, the same thing happened with my brother. My brother did not have what I'm about to tell you in place. And so my sister decided to keep him on life support for, well, she thought she was going to keep him on there for 2 years, but the good Lord stepped in and took him out after a year on life support. I don't know if you know this, but if you're on certain life support, when you're using a tube to breathe and a tube to eat, they can't determine how much pain you're actually in. Nope. So I asked the nurse, well, how do you know to give him the morphine or the fentanyl? She says, well, when his temperature elevates, we assume that's because his body is being stressed, and so we up the meds. That's the only way. So literally, my wicked, and I'm going to say this, she's wicked. This is wicked. My wicked sister kept my brother on life support and was collecting his checks, took all the family estate. She disinherited me, but that's okay. Her mom did that, but that's okay. I'm the little side chick child. So they never forgave my dad for that. But anyway, so okay, that's fine. But she ended up manipulating the medical system where she was able to keep my brother on life support for 1 year. Did you get that? 1 year. Can I blame her? She gonna get judged for that, right? We're not here to judge nobody. We're just here to call them out, right? They're gonna get judged, Revelation 20:6. But anyway, so because he did not have certain documents in place, she was able to, I know he didn't want to. He had prostate cancer that had eaten up. It was on his skull. So it's just a matter of time it was going to take over his whole body. And the doctor said to me, hey, I've never seen anybody recover who was this sick. And my sister said, oh, Jesus is going to heal him. He's going to rise him up at that deathbed. When really what was happening is she was holding on to his finances. See that? And so, and I know it's a little awkward and I'm smiling when I shouldn't be. Forgive me for that, because that's just my little quirk. And I don't want to cry, so I'm smiling through this, okay? And just stick with me. So because of her wickedness, my brother was on a breathing tube, literally a trach in his neck, for 1 year. It happens all the time. The hospital cannot override the wishes of the family without court orders. Well, because she was slick, she took over everything, and the family lived out of state. So even though they knew what was going on, they were limited. And I tried to, but I was limited because I had no control over my brother's life. She did, through his children. She tricked them. They ain't speaking to her no more, but still, she was able to lay the groundwork for her evil deeds. But if she had what I'm going to tell you in place, she wouldn't have been able to get away with it. Okay? So we're going to be smarter. We're going to outsmart these demons that are affecting people and making them do stupid stuff. Anyway, so my brother lived on life support for a year until the trach failed. She was going to put the trach back into his throat so he could continue to live on this life support, so she can continue to get his monthly checks. He was a military veteran. And so I came to visit him at the hospital, and that's when I got certain people to sort of put some eyes on the situation, but to try to get him so she wasn't able to let him languish for another year. However, God was very merciful, y'all, and very gracious, and he took his life on her birthday. What a birthday present. Yeah. Anyway, so God ended his life on his birthday, but he suffered for a year. And here's the thing. I knew my brother was suffering because when I learned that his pain levels are, he could still feel pain even though he was on the trach. Um, yeah, I realized that my brother was should have been let go. We should have surrounded him, his family, and everybody. We should have let him go when he went into the hospital when he was found unconscious. He never regained consciousness. So that was her rub. That was her in, right? Oh, he's not gonna regain consciousness. Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna get his check. Yep, clean out his bank account, all of that. Isn't that horrible? So this is what I'm trying to protect you from in your midlife. But these are the things you have to plan for now, because we don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. We're to enjoy today. The joy of the Lord should be on us today. We should be happy. We should be, sweet and nice and all that. However, anything can happen. Life is full of unexpected happenings, right? So anyway, so because she was able to move in and keep him on life support, it's happening all around the USA. I don't know about other countries. I don't know if you're from another country and you realize that they can do that as well. They can keep you on life support if you do not have certain documents in place. They can keep you on life support, and your family can continue to take the check, which was really interesting because her church was behind her. They were coming up supporting her, and oh, you poor thing, you have to go see your brother at the hospital. She stopped visiting him at some point. She didn't care. She was getting that check. Anyway, so he finally released. God released him, took him home, and that had that ending. But it wasn't a happy ending. Excuse me, I'm at a hotel. Please come back later. So yes, I apologize for that. Out on the road with the comedy scene. Yeah, pretty soon I'm gonna have I have a website coming, and my comedy, I'm gonna start touring on comedy, doing comedy on tour, so we can talk about happy, fun stuff, not this stuff. But anyway, this is midlife secrets, right? So I need to equip you so that you know what time it is, and you will not be a victim of a greedy relative. Okay? It's that complicated. It can be that complicated. So back to the story. Where was I? So anyway, so he passed away at the end of the year, and she managed to walk away with, a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, so let me tell you what the plan is, what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do, because I did it. Well, I'm a lawyer, so I knew to do this. So I'm giving you these tips, okay? Please listen, please. And tell your family members they need a, okay. So there's three things you need. You need a will or a trust, okay? Wills are not that smart if you have physical assets like a home, because you have to pay all these taxes. So there's ways to get around probate and estate taxes through having a trust, having life insurance policies, and having certain deeds on your property. I can't give you legal advice. I'm barred in New York, I'm barred in Ohio, and I'm barred in the District of Columbia. All of those licenses are either inactive or I'm retired. So I'm not a financial analyst. I'm just a wise woman. Holy thinks so too. By the end of this, she'll say, girl, she is wise. And I'm wise because I listened and I did exactly what she said. So I'm protected. Okay, we're there. So yes. So make sure you have a will or a trust. Remember, you talk to somebody that has financial planning skills, and those are laws in your state, because every law has different laws in place for this. And some states, like for instance Georgia, you should not retire to Georgia because they do not, their taxes are crazy high. Okay, so think about that. And Florida has probably the cheapest. From what I understand, I think Florida is most friendly for retirees and hold on to your money. So yeah, so I think that's why all those snowbirds turn into residents after a period of time, because of the ability to have less money taken out of your estate, okay, when you're living, and as when you pass on. So the other thing that you want to do is a durable power of attorney for medical and financial. So this is again trust issues. But you can also pay a lawyer. I think if you've got a lot of money, there's certain, well, you probably don't even need this conversation. You got a lot of money, you probably know. But there's ways to also get third parties involved to manage your estate, like through a trust. And then you appoint a trustee, and that trustee takes care of the things to make sure that everything is in place. So that's the second thing you really need. The third thing you really need is a living will or a medical power of attorney. So a living will also give you some benefits to avoid somebody holding on to your money while you're languishing in a hospital bed. It's horrible, isn't it? I told my doctor, I was like, Doc, he's he doesn't practice in a hospital. He just sees clients and patients rather, because so anyway, I told him about my brother's situation, and I told him, I said, this is a thing all across the United States, that these hospitals cannot take you off life support with your greedy family, eating at your finances. He was shocked. He's a medical doctor. He was shocked to learn that there are people that are doing this as we speak. So that's another thing. I mean, if you're a legislative type of person, if you know your legislature, how your legislative system works, perhaps we need to figure out some kind of law to protect people all across the country. So I don't know how that would work, but maybe we can get a think tank together, or you can get a think tank together to figure out how to protect the elderly, because this is happening and it's awful, it's tragic. But to say that if a person is medically, if it can be determined this person is not going, like my brother, he had terminal prostate cancer because he didn't check his prostate, and when he did, it was too late. So that's another midlife tip, guys. Go get your prostate checked. Yes, he ended up being blinded because his prostate was bad. He ended up losing his hearing, but he got all that back because modern medicine ain't no joke. But I'm telling you, there should be something in place where somebody who is critically ill cannot be kept on life support because you have one greedy relative that says, oh, he's going to be resurrected off that hospital bed. He's going to come alive. That was what she was telling people. I'm like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? At the time, though, she was so slick that I didn't see it. I didn't see that she was trying to set him up to get his money. I didn't see it because I'm not that gal. I mean, how do we see? Come on. If you're not an evil person, you don't necessarily recognize evil until it's maybe too late. But anyway, but again, there should be something in place that says if this person can be considered terminally ill, that maybe the money goes into an escrow account and someone manages that money to see, and then at some point, maybe a committee can take him off life support, because literally I was powerless. I was literally powerless to take my brother off life support. Right. When I knew that he was not going to recover and what was going on, I had no authority to take my brother off life support. Do you imagine how painful that was? To know your sister's got your brother laying up in the hospital and you can't do a cotton picking thing about it, but let him lay there. So anyway, but I lived out of town, so it got so bad. This is how wicked these people can be. She put a code at the hospital that anybody inquiring about his medical condition, you had to get the code from her for the nurses to release any information about my brother's condition. But I kind of think maybe God was protecting me. Don't you think that? Because at some point I had to let God. So I couldn't call and check on him. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even visit him without her permission. But God is so sweet. So when I finally, a year later, when I got to Columbus, where I'm from, I snuck in, y'all, because I'm a gangster. I'm a little OG. I snuck in that hospital. I was like, I'm going to see my brother. So when the nurse was looking the other way, I slipped my way in there and I kissed my brother. I talked to my brother. And actually, I told my brother he could go. I said, Garnet, I'm okay. Your sons are okay. You can go now. Because his trach had failed. Like I was saying, his trach had failed and she was getting ready to put it back in. But I said to him, it's okay, Garnet. You can go. You can go. You can go to the light. And he passed away a couple of days later. So she never got to continue with her shenanigans. She never got to keep him in the hospital for a whole additional year because I'm a gangster and I snuck in there and told him it was okay. You think that's what did it? I don't know. God has plans that we don't know about. We just have to have faith. So yeah, so that happened. Okay, so anyway, what else I want to tell you? Oh, okay, so a durable power of attorney for medical reasons, that's someone who you agree to make plans on your behalf if you're incapacitated. So there's somebody that you trust that says, no, don't you take him off life support because I can tell you for a fact that in my spirit, he's going to make it. So don't pull him off. And then they leave him on and they treat him and he gets better. You hear those miracle stories all the time, right? So that's what a durable power of attorney. It's your brain to another person telling the hospital that to let you go or to keep you and see what happens. Okay. And if they love you, they'll be realistic about it and they'll say, okay, yeah, he's recovering. Look, and you saved their life. Okay, because so there's that. So you understand that. So you really need that adorable power of attorney. So find an attorney. Listen, don't be a cheapskate. Oh, I stand with Israel from Iran. Oh, that's precious. Okay, I stand with the people of Israel too. I stand with people everywhere. If you are a people on this planet and you deserve every blessing, every bit of support, I guess in the where is it they're having? Anyway, it's just the world is crazy. It's crazy. So I stand with all the right people. I stand on the right side of righteousness. Okay? So thank you for that, reminding that we do stand with people that are being persecuted around the world. Okay. So anyway, so remember, any power of attorney that you get, it ends at death. So your power of attorney is only good until you die. So remember that. So people think, oh, after I'm dead, my cousin or my sister or whatever has power of attorney over my estate. They do not. They do not. All power of attorneys end when you pass away. So that's when your trust account comes in or your will comes in. But again, there's financial components to all of that. So therefore, if you're smart, you'll consult a financial analyst, a financial person, and they'll help you prepare these documents. Okay, you can get them online. So yeah, you can get them online. You can do that online, and that's fine too, but you better know what you're doing because you can make a big financial mistake if you don't do them properly. Okay, so what was I going to tell you? This is the other thing. So if you are getting, this is a real good one. If you are in your midlife and you buy a home, all right? And if you get sick and your finances are such where you have to rely on government assistance, they will take your house. If you don't get rid of your house within 5 years, I think it's 5, check this because the laws changed and I haven't practiced in years, but I know that a situation arose where my friend's mom had a house that was fully paid for. The family was going to sell it. Siblings are going to get a nice little profit. Nay. The state of Ohio sent them a letter saying, oh, guess what? You now owe the state of Ohio X amount of dollars. And so when you sell the house, we get paid. She told the state of Ohio, why would I probate this estate with this house? I spend the money for the lawyer only for you to take the house, the proceeds, because my mother was on some type of assistance because she lived to be 90 something. So they were giving her like wheelchairs and homemade services, but the family had to pay it back to the state. And so they didn't know that until they got this letter saying, hello, it's the state. We're coming to get that property. What? Did you know that? That's poor financial planning. So what could have happened is, according to the law, in general, if you relinquish interest in a piece of property within 5 years of you die, that property cannot be acquired by the state for your debt. So basically, your tax dollars kick in, and the money you paid in your tax dollars should be, and we fund a lot of stuff through our tax dollars. That fund should kick in, and your family will get to keep your house. So there's things you can get a life estate in that property. You got to trust somebody though, because they can give. But if you turn your deed over to a third party and you maintain what's called a life estate, they cannot take you out of the house. If you have a life estate, they have to keep you in your house for that period of time. That saves you from having to lose your family. Your mom and dad, they built a house. They had a house for years. They want you to have it. But if y'all didn't plan for their demise, I'm sorry. Well, that too, but I'm just saying, if you didn't plan for an event that they got sick, one or both of them, and the state stepping in, you didn't properly plan, and so the state can come in and take the house away because of the amount you owe the state. Isn't that crazy? But my friend, she's a lawyer, so she was smart to say, I'm not probating that state of Ohio. If you want to come and get this house, Come get it. You probate the house because you know that anybody that you owe money to, any creditors that you have, they have the right to demand that your estate be probated, meaning they have the right to start the process to liquidate your assets, right? So know that. But yes, these are little nuances that I'm learning that I didn't know because my mother wasn't a homeowner, and again, my father's property was stolen by my sister, so she got all of that. Anyway, God bless her. You say, what did the Bible say? Bless your enemies and those who spitefully use you. So I'd be a blessing. I am a blessing because you know what? I want a blessing to come right back at me. Don't you want to be a blessing? So pray for those and bless those who spitefully use you. All right, that's a midlife tip. Okay, what else? Because we only got 30 minutes. It's 25 minutes in. One more important thing. So if you live in a state where the housing HUD list for Section 8, they don't call it Section 8 anymore, but it's called, what is it called now? It's called affordable housing. If you live in a state, you can make up to 100, I think it's 100,000 for two people, 55,000 for one person. You qualify for a tax credit, and you also can qualify for what's considered a subsidy from the government to subsidize your housing. If you go to senior housing, if you just have wherever that you can make there's a chart, there's a list. So if you make this amount of money, the government says, well, you didn't make enough money to retire on, so let us help you with your housing. So, but most of those wait lists across the country are now closed, but they open up periodically. Check that, y'all. If you know somebody that's not financially prepared for retirement, check the HUD website periodically and see if that list opened up. Once that list's open up, you can put your name on that list, and then they'll call you and say, hey, you've moved up and now you can get discounted housing, right? That's a real good midlife tip, because perhaps, because housing is so expensive now. So depending on what your retirement plan looks like, you may need assistance to sort of keep more money in your pocket so you can get into one of these buildings with your tax credit or your Section 8, which is now affordable housing certificate, and you get reduced rent. So that makes your life easier. Yes, your retirement years easier. So make sure you check those lists in your state. They open up every now and again, but I don't know what is this administration doing about housing. I heard that he wants to cut back on all of that. So yeah, I heard that. So be aware. But the other thing is also, this is to my black people. This is not a thing to be ashamed of, right? It's not a thing to be ashamed of. A lot of these people that are in these buildings are Asian people, Caucasian people. So black people, go sign up. I know you talking about, they was on Section 8 and all that, and they didn't even pay the $25 a month they owed, and they lost their Section 8. That's irrelevant. What I'm saying to you right now is there is a benefit. It's called a benefit. It's beneficial for you if you didn't retire, if you didn't plan for retirement like you should have. I'm getting there though. I still got time. Then look into your local, and also, look into the HUD subsidies for people who make up to $100,000 for a couple, I think, $55,000 for a single person. Don't quote me on that because those numbers fluctuate, but get on those waiting lists. And then they will call you and say, hey, you've been selected because it partners with government funded housing, but also partners with private housing too. So you can end up in a really nice place, subsidized. There's no shame in that. Black people, that's why I'm talking to you. Please, don't be embarrassed. You pay taxes. Not only did you pay taxes, we're at the 40 acres and a mule. You pay taxes just like anybody else. Your forefathers helped build this country, just like the Asian forefathers built the country, the Caucasians forefathers helped to build the country. Tap into what is owed your family, right? Come on now, tap in. So get on these lists. Find out. There's also states also have private funds that can help you get affordable housing in your senior years, right? That's it. Just tap in. To know is to know, and to do is to do. So get it done. That's all I'm saying. There's no shame in that, family. There's no shame. Like my business friend, she was like, Stacy, when they were talking about the SNAP benefits, she says, I use SNAP because the reason I use SNAP is because it's a business benefit. Until my business reaches a certain financial level, I'm entitled to some subsidy, some help with my food bill every month. There was no shame in her game. She's playing the game like you're supposed to play the game. The government is supposed to work for us. Look how many years we've worked for the government, right? I know I did because I did public defender work. So I paid a lot into the government in terms of service. So get those benefits. Come on now. Come on. If you're military, you get housing benefits. Just get it. Don't, and you ain't got to tell nobody your business. If you ain't proud of the fact that you had to get a voucher or whatever, okay, I ain't mad at you. But don't tell nobody. They just say, wow, you got a nice place. How much is your rent? You can tell them what the market rate is. You ain't got to tell them what you pay. Anyway, I'm being a little silly, but I'm being honest with you because black people, we have all this pride built up. I ain't doing that. No. Okay, well then go pay market rent and have less fun because you ain't got some disposable income because you're paying all that rent. Okay, so that part is it. So we've already hit 30 minutes. Wasn't that quick? One more thing. Okay, I want to give you the information for a financial advisor. My friend who knows I'm trying to get myself together financially so I can retire well, he sent me this book. It's called Unstoppable Prosperity by Charles Payne. Oh, Mr. Payne, I think he has a website too. Mr. Payne is he's telling people how to go from rags to riches legally. Okay, so and then also I'm gonna drop this on you. The couple that with their business partners who helped my children because I didn't even know this. There's certain things that my daughter and my son, my son's in private industry, my daughter's in government industry. There were two funds. One was a 457 fund or something like that. And there was another fund that they can tap into. They can start paying into in addition to their 401k, and they can retire at 55 with $1 million. You hear that? So I'm going to give you these people's information. Reach out to them. I told them I was going to do this today. So it's Kelsey and Michael. Kelsey's number is, you ready to write this down? 770-802-3117. I'll repeat that. Kelsey, 770-802-3117. So give her a call, set up a meeting with them, let them go over your financial plan, and maybe you'll engage them. You'll hire them to help you get retire as a millionaire. Because trust me, it's not getting cheaper out here. As a matter of fact, we know that the scripture says things are going to get really, really expensive towards the end, and that's all part of what's going to happen. But you need to be financially prepared. That was the whole message today. All right, I hope you enjoyed this live, and come back next time. Bring a friend. Come back next time. Bring a friend and hit that like button on your way out. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your work week. Shalom. That means peace in Hebrew. I can't hit this button. Why won't this button hit me off? Oh, does it want me to stick around with y'all a little longer? Because it ain't ending. Hold on.